So, I guess it's about time for an update, huh? Um, well, let's see. I crossed from Ohio into Kentucky, of course, and went from Cincinnati into Covington, Kentucky, and immediately hit a huge, like 5, 6 mile, pretty steep incline. It it was like welcome to Kentucky. The flatlands are over, pal. And I found out that even as little bit of mileage as I was getting in the flatlands, because of my load and electric bike and just weather and just I haven't done well. And I thought now that the good weather was starting to come, I'd start to make miles. Well, not quite. The hills are pretty significant here in Kentucky, as you can imagine, and I've had a few additional problems. When I finally got to the top of that hill from Covington to Florence, about 9 miles, it's like 9 miles of mostly incline. And as soon as I got to the top of that hill, and it was finally like coming into the suburbs of Florence or whatever, my rear wheel was bent and rubbing against my trailer on and that is not good, and I didn't know what to do other than to try to replace that threaded rod again, because it was bent, and once it's bent it's weakened anyway, and so I knew it would only be a matter of time. And so I replaced it, but apparently I didn't do it well enough. Okay? Or I did it wrong, just didn't tighten something up tight as it should have been, or something. I thought I did a good job. Looked great. Even bought a little mini hacksaw to cut off the excess of the threaded rod, and thought I did a good job. And no, I got a little ways down the road, but it was a bad road. Not because of, well, it had hills, of course, but literally no kind of breakdown or bike lane. The white painted stripe was the side of the road, so I, with my trailer, literally had to be in the road, and that was fairly concerning, because they were doing like 55, 60 miles an hour, including tractor trailers and stuff, just zipping by me, and it's like, oh man. And so right at the worst possible spot, my rear tire just locked up, stopped me immediately, and it was like, oh man. And I mean, I'm out in the road, and so I had to unhook my trailer to get the bike out of the road and the trailer out of the road, and I get it out of the road, and basically, I emptied out the trailer so I could flip it over and try to work on the tires, because that tire was completely locked up. Somehow the nuts on the other side of the trailer, the other tire's side, that nut had slowly been tightening and pushing up against that tire, and I couldn't I couldn't loosen the nuts or anything. It was just that they were locked in. And this nice old guy lived across the road. His name was Gilbert. That I'm sure. His first name was Gilbert, but I can't remember for sure what his last name was. But very nice guy, very nice little piece of property there. And 80 years old. Came over to see what the problem was, see if I got hit or something, because now my trailer's upside down and stuff, and he don't know, and so he came over to check it out. And Found out what his problem was, and he went over and grabbed a couple wrenches and came back with them, and me and him are trying to work on it and see if we can get this tire loosened or off or something, and weren't having very much success. And so here's me and Gilbert around this upside down trailer with my bike on the side, and it does look like the scene of an accident or something, and this guy in a van came and went by, and he turned around and he came back and stopped to see what he could do to help. At first, he thought it was an accident at first too, but when he understood what the situation was, he wanted to help. So Gilbert kindly agreed to watch over my stuff and Diesel while me and Tony's his name, went to the hardware store to get parts. Well, Tony's a pretty good fixer of things. He really thought this thing out, and he understood that regular rebar I was using and that had been used before on the first fix was just too fragile. Not fragile, but bendable, if you will. I don't know what the right word would be, but anyway, he thought maybe stainless steel would work a lot better, along with some rightly placed lock nuts on each side of the receiver and that the threaded rod went through. And we went to the store, or to the hardware store, and he bought all the parts, came back, and we sat there on the side and fixed it. And he generously offered to take me to his place with his wife and such, and be able to just stay there for the night, because I'm in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road, and he got me out of that situation. For that, I'm grateful too, and the place for the night. And he was a very nice guy, and his wife, Ashley. I think I remembered this time. I think it's Ashley. Very nice people, Kentucky people, and a very nice piece of property. So now I'm still a ways away from Louisville, but headed in that direction anyway. And me and Diesel keep going on day by day. We get to where we get. And so there you are. I guess that's a good enough update for right now. And till next time, I'll turn it around so you can get a peek of Diesel, of course. He's laid out. I'm actually at this church in this little crossroads place, and my bike is charging up on an outlet on that sign right there. And so we started out early this morning. Right now it's like 9:30, and we've already had our first part of the day in and recharging the battery, and we'll get to the second part when we get to the second part. So there you go. Till next time, have a good one.